Welcome, everyone, to today's live stream, episode 21 of our Starfield gameplay series. I'm Commander Jorval, and I want to thank you for coming along on our journey today. So, on admin notes, first of all, I want to say I'm sorry for the unintended consequences of my patio renovation, which happened last week. Well, was supposed to happen last week. We obviously had bad weather across the U.S. Last week, and we got a few days of freezing down here where I live, and that delayed the construction for my patio. And I was going to be able to work around it with them doing work later on in the week. Unfortunately, they went to excavate my patio, and when they did, they cut my internet line to the house, and that happened the day of the last week's Starfield livestream, so couldn't get it replaced in time. There was obviously a lot of fallen trees and lines down and things like that because of the freeze, so our cable company was really backed up getting repairs done. They weren't able to get out here until this past Sunday. And they came out, they fixed the line, but then they had to start up the patio construction again, and my house The patio can only be accessed through the interior of the unit. It's an enclosed patio, so that means that there was no way for me to access my TV and set up my streaming setup and that sort of stuff while any of that was going on for 3 days. So there just was not an opportunity for me to record games and upload gameplay or anything like that, just because of an unfortunate series of events. So I apologize for that. The construction is almost done. They have one more thing they have to do on the patio, and they're going to come and do that Saturday morning. But for now, the live stream for tonight should be okay. There might be a couple of minute interruption for a quick break while they finish up work during the Baldur's Gate live streams on Saturday morning, but hopefully not. We'll try and keep the interruptions to a minimum on that. So I apologize for that. Thank you everyone for your support and comments when I mentioned it in the community tab. So hopefully everything's back to normal. So on the next admin note, the big one for this week is that Bethesda has released their first update of the year, and they've released it in beta. And by in beta, that means they've released it on Steam. You can choose to download it as a beta update if you like on Steam, but you do not have to. That also means that it's not currently available on the Microsoft Store or Xbox yet. While they have everyone who's playing it on Steam go through and test out all of these fixes, make sure they're not causing any more issues before they release it on the Xbox and the Microsoft Store. So I play through my own standalone copy through the Microsoft Store, not through Steam. So I do not have access to it here yet. Hopefully, here at least in a couple of weeks, that'll be released as a full update, and we'll go from there. But some of the major points of that update, and you can go on Bethesda's website and read the full patch notes. I'm not going to go through all of them here. But the first thing is that there have been a lot of graphical improvements. The beta players on Steam have been commenting on this a lot since it was released, I believe, on the 18th. Is when when the beta was available on Steam. There's a lot of graphics improvements. Bethesda's never had the greatest looking games, you know. Normally the modding community picks up where Bethesda leaves off in that regard. There supposedly are a lot of graphics improvements in this one, specifically with shaders, shadows, that sort of stuff that they've gone and improved in the game. There are also some modders who have taken some of the improved abilities that the rendering engine has and have improved on them even more. So here in the past couple of days, we've gotten some re-released updated mods that go along with it that are very impressive to look at. So a lot of graphics changes coming, really looking forward to that. They have fixed some minor character and crew stuff, not really a big deal. One of the things that they did do in general is they've optimized the save syncing between the Microsoft Store, Xbox, and the Microsoft Cloud. And I'm hoping that this will alleviate some of the issues that we've had with save files popping up the error saying that you're running out of space because it can't sync to the cloud anymore. I'm hoping that they have corrected some of that sort of stuff when it comes down to that. Don't know entirely what it is yet. Again, we're going to have to wait until it's released on the Microsoft Store for me to take a look at it, but that would be a big improvement if that's actually what it means. There are also a lot of quest fixes here, some of them that we ran into ourselves, such as in Eye of the Storm, where one of the last missions in the Crimson Fleet questline, where we got onto the bridge and we inserted the data core and the credits didn't transfer. We had to reload a much earlier save, go through it very quickly, and get back there and try it again, and we saved right beforehand. It didn't work again. We had to reload the save, and it finally worked the third time. It sounds like they've got that bug fixed. There's also a bunch of other fixes for various missions in the Crimson Fleet questline. We didn't run into any of the others, but there are a lot of others that could possibly have popped up, specifically with Legacy's End, Echoes of the Past, and that sort of stuff that we kind of lucked out on. There are also some others that we're going to be running into as we go through some of side quests later on in the playthrough. Specifically some of the list missions and that sort of stuff that we're going to be looking forward to. There are some ship customization issues. There's nothing mentioning here the duplication of ships on the landing pad. We've run into this before where you drop or you land your ship at a landing pad. You go to the ship technician to mod your ship. The ship gets modded on the pad, and then when you take off and you land at the pad, there's a duplicate of your ship on the pad. So it looks entirely the same. The difference is that the landing pad the landing bay is closed and you're not able to access the ship. In my personal playthrough, I experienced it where I modded a ship on a pad, I took off, captured another ship, made it my home ship, landed on the pad, and that old ship was sitting on the pad, and the geometry of it interfered with the landing bay on my new home ship. And I had to go into console mode and manually delete all of those modules one by one out of the game. I had to create a ship, first of all, that had a bunch of empty space in the middle so I could see all of that phantom ship, to click on the modules to delete it using console commands. But I thought my personal playthrough was actually going to be completely wiped out, because there are missions where once you land, your crew members have to run to your ship and enter the ship to complete the mission, and if they can't do that, the mission can't complete. So I thought my personal playthrough was going to end because of that bug. So there's nothing in there that specifically mentions that, but I hope that gets improved. There are some skill changes and some weapon item changes and things like that, but again, nothing very serious. So if you're interested in that, go check out the complete patch notes and you'll be able to take a look at it. So, hey, Astamura, thanks. Thanks for being here. I appreciate it. And yeah, I'm happy to be back online again. Hopefully tonight will go okay, and then hopefully maybe a small interruption during the Bard playthrough this weekend on Saturday morning, but hopefully it'll be minimized. Almost done with all of the fixes around the house here, so glad everything's back to normal. So I think that finishes things up on the admin notes. On a recap, at the end of last live stream, we had finished picking up some skill book. Well, not finished. We had gone through picking up some of the Combat Tech skill books to up our damage and range with our accuracy and our range with our Combat Tech weapons. Specifically the hard target and the Beowulf. And there's still one of those left that's tied to a specific location that we're going to have to find. The intent was that I'd be able to search for that location offline, but obviously that didn't happen with not having access to my computer for almost a week during the rescheduled construction. So we had also finished up and picked up the last Crick's journal by visiting Vladimir's house way out here on Sirma, I believe. So as I said, I just got access back to my TV and my computer to be able to load up the game yesterday, and because of that, I didn't have a whole lot of time to prep for today's mission. So today we're going to start back up, kind of take a look at where we are, and we'll see what interesting things we can get up to. And if you have any comments or suggestions in chat, feel free to let me know, and we can go take a look at some things. But we're going to play it a little bit by ear today and just see what we have available. We always have side missions we can do. We always have more powers that we can go find. We also have more skill books that are available to us that we can go search for as well. So there are a bunch of things that we can do, but let's kind of take stock of a few things here. So we are still looking for some legendary items, so we could go searching for more legendary versions of our Beowulf, our hard target, things like that. We could also be searching for legendary versions of our armor, so we could do some item farming as part of it. We have, for our ship, we had picked this up last week. We had upgraded it with extended range and upgraded the weapons and modules on it and all that sort of stuff. So I think we're good with the ship right now. There's the possibility that we could go searching for a Claymore 3, which is an upgraded version of this same ship here. So we could also go do that. We have some quests that we can continue on here, and a bunch of activities that lead to other side quests that we can do here as well, including searching for some powers and that sort of stuff to go along with it. So we have a bunch of things that we do have available to us. Hey, one thing in particular that you would like to take a look at, let me know. For now, I think what we're going to do is we had finished up here in Vlad's basement. We had picked up the skill book, and we should have Crix's journal entry here, and this should be our last one. What we are going to do is we're going to go back and drop off all of our skill books that we've collected so far into our main safe at the lodge. This is where I always keep them. You can sell them. You can get rid of them. I tend to keep them here just because it gives me a good idea about which ones I have and which ones I still have left to find. I don't have to keep an exterior log of them or anything like that. So we'll spend a few minutes going over here, dropping them off, cleaning out our inventory a little bit after that, and then we should be ready to head out and take a look at some new stuff to do. So let's quickly head back upstairs here.
The lodge is still our home.
Go here and we will drop off some notes. So we had 1, 2, 4, and 5 of Crix's journal entries in here. And there's number 3. So we can drop that off. We're also going to drop off the Combatech catalogs that we have, 1, 2, and 3. We have the Cyberrunner Cipher that we picked up while we were inside of one of the missions. It's more difficult to get it afterwards, so we're going to drop that off. Grunt issue 8 that we also picked up during a mission because it's harder to get afterward. And we picked up the 4 slates from Vladimir's house. You don't have to keep those. I just keep them for sentiment reasons, basically, at this point. Okay, so that's all the skill books, I believe, that are in here. Yes, that should be it. So let's go in here real quick and just make sure of what we've got. So yeah, these are all of our unique type of spacesuits, packs, and helmets that we've picked up. So we'll be keeping all of those. Yep. Our apparel, Sarah Morgan's outfit, because Sarah Morgan's obviously not with us anymore. And the notes that we have, yes, all of our journals, the interview portions that we picked up during the Crimson Fleet quest line. So think we're good. So let's go out to the commercial district here. And we will just go sell off some items. Clean up our inventory. And we'll decide what we want to go take a look at today.
Please, if you experience any issues in your dealings with the distribution center, welcome to UC Distribution. Oh, well, certainly.
Okay, so we do have some weapons that we can sell off here, and some of these are going to be expensive and use up most of the credits that we have here. We're going to drop the Memento Mori in storage on our ship. So let's save selling weapons for now. So spacesuits, we're good. We've got an extra helmet, a Superior Bounty Hunter helmet. So if you compare these, you can look at the stats. We've talked about this briefly before. The Trackers Alliance, the Bounty Hunter, the Mercenary, and the Explorer are the highest tier of base level armors. They all have slightly different stats, things that they are slightly better at than the others. So here, the Trackers Alliance is better physical protection, or the Bounty Hunter is better physical protection. We have heavy shielding, which is upping this by 5. So the Superior Bounty Hunter, if we added heavy shielding, would be higher physical. The energy shielding adds 20 to energy, so this has better energy. It fails, though, in the EM category. And this is where the Trackers Alliance is better. So every one of them are going to be within a couple of points, better or worse than the others in these 3 stats. So there are also differences in what their protections are. The Bounty Hunter offers better thermal and radiation, whereas the Trackers Alliance offers better airborne and splits between corrosive and radiation. So the stats are all very close to each other. It's just 6 of one, half dozen the other on how you want to equip any of your particular characters with it. So we'll go ahead and we'll sell this off. Arrow, we're still good with all of those. Throwables looks like we're fine. So notes, we can sell off some of these books that we've picked up. Keep the survey data. Hold on to that stuff. There's another use for that. Okay, Digipix we're fine with, and I think that gets us down. We do have some resources. So these are just common things. I can sell these off. Don't need to keep them. Okay, let's see how much money she has left. So 3,000. Let's go ahead and see if we can sell off any weapons for that. We can not. Yes, we can. We can sell off the Solstice. Okay.
Right. Come back if you need something else.
And we're going to go to the residential district. Okay, and here we're going to head over here to Centurion Arsenal and sell off whatever weapons we can.
I'm sure you are only the finest collection of armaments in the settled systems.
We're going to sell off the Beowulf. We're going to keep the Inflictor. This is an advanced Inflictor. It's one of the best overall damage weapons in the game. We'll sell off the Mutineer as well. We don't need it. And I think that gets us down. We're going to drop the Memento Mori in our ship hold when we get there. And I think that should be good. Okay, so let's head out here and we'll take a look at our mission list. Let me pull up one more thing real quick here. Okay, so we do have First Contact. This is a fun side quest to do. It has some interesting ramifications to it. So we certainly can do that. We also had picked up Combatex 1, 2, and 3. And then 4 is part of a quest for Barrett. So we might hop on our ship and see if we can talk to Barrett. And see if maybe that will open up there. So let's head back to... Okay, so we're just going to stand up. Go see if Barrett has anything to say real quick. Did I not assign anybody here? Oh, they must have all become unassigned after the events that we went through. Okay, so that will get Barrett back onto our ship here. We're probably going to have to take off, if I had to guess, to get them to physically show up here. So let's just head to... Actually, we're going to stay here. Let's just fast travel over to Gagarin.
I have something for you.
You are entering United
Okay, so there's an activity to talk with Barrett. We're getting all of the mission or activities to talk with everybody. Probably to go through all the events that we have dealt with recently. Let's go talk to Barrett and see. Not here. He must be... Wow. Okay. Hello? Thank you. Mantle, please. Okay. So he was downstairs below.
Neon. You'd think it would be peaceful with all those calm waters and beautiful sunsets. But I can't think of any town that's more stressful. Reusion. Infinity Ltd. And there you were, navigating corporate bureaucracy like a professional. Humanity went to the stars and explored new worlds. And some still ended up sitting at desks all day long. Not sure if I should laugh or cry. Look, I know Neon is going to be Neon, no matter what any of us do about it. But I'm glad you put a stop to that neural amp tech. Nothing good was going to come from that.
All of these conversations that you have with these characters are going to be, especially about the main faction missions that you've been on, are all going to be different depending upon the choices that you made. So whether you shut down the neuroamp tech or whether you expanded the neuroamp tech, whether you used the biological method to cure the terramorphs or whether you brought the animals back to cure them, all of those choices that you make influence how your companion characters talk to you.
I do. Trust me. I think it's fascinating and has potential to help beyond our wildest dreams. But we can't just believe that they have the best intentions here. Too much is at stake to risk it. I guess we'll find out if we can trust them if you suddenly start coming after all of us, huh? I guess we'll find out. Anyway, not that I care a ton about the internal politics of some ethically dubious megacorp, but... So, Masako, huh? I mean, between her and Ularu Chen, I get it, but you don't trust her, do you? Well, I trust you, and I'm glad the choice was yours and not mine. Anyway, you didn't happen to pick up any investment tips while you were in there? Just kidding. I don't even want to know. Got a minute to chat? Maybe a few minutes. Probably not hours, though. But no guarantees. Space is so hostile to humanity already, and you made it just a little bit safer for everybody. The Terramorphs don't stand a chance. This is going to make a real difference. This is one for the Constellation history books, Captain. So humble, too. People love that. Squeak! Anyway, I can't believe you got them to agree to the microbes. Bravo, Captain. Bravo. Me too. Sealing away the Lazarus plant hopefully is just a small risk, but that remains to be seen. Balancing risk versus reward is tricky, even more so when so much hangs in the balance. Making the subtle system safer with every petri dish. Well, if it isn't our own ranger. I hope you're not taking the job permanently. A badge is just a symbol, a promise, a hope. You don't have to wear the object to be true to those goals. Anyway, I'm just glad Ron Hope is gone. Those farmers are gone, but you prevented the next group of people from suffering. It was a hard choice that you made, but I'm proud of you, Captain. Hey, if you have time, I've been thinking about some things. Wanted to talk to you about it.
So we've run through the UC Vigilance questline, we've run through the Ryujin questline, and we've now run through the Freestar Rangers questline and all of his comments here.
How can I help? I can't imagine how hard it was to be under all that pressure. A leader knows that protecting regular folk is not just a responsibility, but a privilege. And I'm proud to call you my captain.
Porco, that room of yours better be clean next time I go in there.
Modest, too. They're gonna make a statue out of you, or carve your face on a moon or something. What you did took nerves. Befriending Delgado like that, it was a huge risk. If he had gotten to you, convinced you to side with them, I don't know what we'd be dealing with right now.
And this is the Crimson Fleet questline.
Look, I get what you're saying, but you saw an opportunity and you took it. It was his weakness, not yours. And if they regroup after all this, they'll be weaker next time. All thanks to you. That's the hope and the dream. But if they do, we'll deal with it. Simple as that.
Okay, let's see if he has anything else to say.
I'm up for a little adventure.
Hello, Captain. What's on your mind? Let's see. I've been in Constellation for a long time, as you know. I enjoy cheese, my work, and long walks on unexplored planets. What else did you want to know about? I think about it a lot. There's so many possibilities. Some wonderful, some terrifying. I'm not a fearful man, but I am just a man. And I'm keenly aware that this artifact could change my life. Or end it. On Bendy? No, wait. It was Kazal. I can feel Lynn's admonishing stare boring a hole in my back. She's not actually standing behind me, is she? Well, point is, my story's probably a lot like yours. We dug a pit, found some really wonky readings, and followed them to the artifact. I think it's pretty clear now there's a possible correlation between the visions and the powers. Of course, correlation isn't necessarily causation. Once is a fluke, twice is a coincidence, and so forth. But once I get back into academic mode, I'll be writing a paper that will suggest the connection is valid. Obfuscating the identities of the powered, of course, which means we all get code names. Fun, right? Well, when I picked it up, I had no idea what it was. I knew it was something spectacular, though. I saw a vision. Flashing lights, the whole shebang. Sure. Like what?
Okay, so it looks like he's not at the approval level that we need for him to bring up his personal quest line at this point.
Always a pleasure.
So we'll see if that pops up a little later. So I think what we're probably going to do, and you can have these same conversations, variations of it, with your other companions. So Sam is going to want to talk to us and have out, and like I say, have those same type of conversations, and there's chances for approval or disapproval depending upon how you play them. But for now, I think we're going to go with First Contact. First Contact it's a rather fun mission to play through, and it starts out here at Porma. And it has to do with this derelict ship here in orbit. So we're going to land here.
Captain, landing procedure initiated.
We'll head in here and talk to the chief.
No major incidents in a while. Let's hope it stays that way.
Welcome to Paradiso. Jiro Sugiyama at your service. Do you have a security concern, or is there something else I can help you with? Ah, yes, of course. I'm glad you came. As you can imagine, we're in a bit of a predicament. Under normal circumstances, we would not enlist outside help in this manner. But this is a matter we can't afford to worry our guests about. As such, we need to handle this discreetly. Failure on your part to do so could have severe consequences. So, before we proceed, can you swear not to discuss this with anyone else unless explicitly directed to do so? Great. I appreciate it. Not too long ago, a strange and enormous ship appeared in Parima space. It is now locked in orbit around our planet. So far, it doesn't seem to be hostile, but any attempts to communicate with it have been in vain, so we're unsure of the ship's intentions. It is. Whatever's going on, we need to approach this with care. First, see if you have more luck communicating with them. If not, you may have to try boarding. Whatever you do, it's important to remember to seek diplomacy with who or whatever's on board. As soon as you have any more information, report to Oliver Campbell. He's the CEO of Paradiso. All formal decisions will need to go through him, and he'll have your pay. Good luck.
Okay, so they want us to contact the ship in orbit, which is, again, fairly straightforward. Okay, so you're not going to be able to communicate with them, so you just get up close until you can dock.
Ship is now docked. Perfect. Didn't even smudge the paint.
Now, throughout most of this, you're not going to need to be sneaking around, so I'm going to go in with my business suit because I am going to need the persuasion through some of these interactions. Not necessarily here in this particular one, but as a consequence of a choice I'm going to make in here, I will need to have some persuasion, so...
Stay alert. Weapons at the ready.
You're human. It's just that we weren't expecting to find life, let alone human life out here. We thought we were the only ones to leave Earth.
Perhaps we should greet our guests.
Of course. Manners. I'm Captain Diana Brackenridge. This is Security Officer Bomani Reader. And this is Dr. Mabuti da Costa, one of our elders.
A pleasure to meet you.
I don't know all the particulars, but I'll try to answer as best I can. It's a colony ship. It was built long ago by our ancestors to sustain our crew over hundreds of years in space through generations of travelers. It's sturdy, fast, and spacious. That last one is important because we had to take as many supplies as possible with us on the journey and still have ample space for our crew. I see. As you may have presumed, we're in a bit of a bind. Our ship has finally completed its near 200-year journey from Earth, only to find our new home seemingly colonized by... well, we don't know. Communications haven't been successful, so your arrival is fortuitous. Perhaps you'd be willing to act as a middle person between ourselves and... the others. Ah, your question confirms one of our recent theories. It would seem that some form of faster-than-light travel or space-bending technology was invented during our long journey. That would explain why we would find people this far out into space. I guess technology leapfrogged us at some point. Interesting. I can only imagine that our predecessors didn't believe the technology would ever work, and so they made the decision to leave when they did. We do. Well, sort of. We saw structures using our surveying equipment. We've also seen the various ships pass us by. Some even seemed to want to communicate, but couldn't. Of course, we had no idea that they were being piloted by other humans. Well, the short answer is, we didn't. It's a generation ship, which is to say that most of us lived long, happy lives on board and passed our mission down to our children. It was never intended that the original crew would make it to our destination. The goal was always the preservation of the human race above all else. Though, it would seem that was perhaps a bit presumptuous. Oh yes, of course. Where are my manners? Now then, please follow me. There's much to discuss first. We'll speak more on the matter once we reach the bridge. Dr. DaCosta, you may return to your quarters if you wish.
Thank you, Captain.
I will follow you to the bridge, ma'am. For security purposes.
I do not
Well, it's
believe
always
we have
interesting
need
to
fear
look
our
at
guest,
weapons
but
that they're
I'll allow it if
carrying.
you
Old
insist.
school shotguns. Look like Remington Model
Welcome to the Earth colony ship
1892s.
Constant. In the early 2100s, my ancestor, Rupert Brackenridge, researched a number of scientific scenarios: climate change, asteroid impact, nuclear war, global pandemic, and more. Each scenario showed the likelihood of an extinction-level event to be within 50 years. He fully believed Earth was destined to be rendered uninhabitable. We've always assumed that's what happened.
We've got strict rules
He gathered
around
the
here.
best and
They're strict
brightest
for a
he could
reason.
find, built the Constant, and set a course for this planet here. We were told that it was the largest, most advanced ship ever constructed on Earth at the time. If you can believe, entire generations have been born, lived, and died on this ship. It really goes to show that there are no limits to human ingenuity and perseverance.
The Constant is a peaceful ship. Don't change that.
Never seen a ship like yours before. Well, then again, I haven't seen any ships before you arrived.
So, here we are. Let's talk. We didn't believe anyone would be out here, but I'm glad for it. I think I'm coming up on 6 years now. I was only a teenager when my father died, passing command of the ship to me, as is tradition. Because of that, I've had to sort of learn as I go along, instead of taking years of study and apprenticeship under the prior captain. I think some people on the ship resent me for not having the level of experience as my predecessors. But at the same time, without my command, we likely wouldn't have made it here so quickly. A bit frazzled, as you can imagine. People are anxious about discovering that we're not alone, and also worried about what will come to pass. While we hope we can work out a deal with the people on the surface, they seem reluctant to reach out, so there's no telling what will come of that. I do know that we can't afford to stay here in orbit forever. The ship was built to sustain us for many years with backup provisions just in case, but even that will come to an end eventually. Difficult is the wrong word. It can be both challenging at times and also exciting. Our mission was to rebuild humanity on a distant world, believing that we were Earth's last hope. To think that while there has always been a Brackenridge in the captain's chair, that I am the one to finally oversee our journey's end is truly exhilarating. But with this stumbling block in our path, at this final moment, I fear tough choices will need to be made. Well, as I mentioned, we've been unsuccessful in communications with anyone up until you arrived, though not for lack of trying. But since you're asking, maybe you'd be willing to be a sort of diplomat between us and them as we attempt to resolve our situation. Does that sound agreeable to you? Ah, so they have a name. Paradiso. And it sounds promising that they sent you here to speak with us. You see, we intended to settle here, but we assumed that they intend to defend their claim given their presence here. We'd like you to go speak to them on our behalf and help us negotiate a solution, preferably one that favors us. Excellent. Make no mistake, this is our planet, and we intend for them to see this our way. So, speak with their leadership and see if you can negotiate a solution on our behalf. Preferably, get them to see things our way. Report back to me and let me know what they say, and we'll go from there. Now, it makes little sense to give up before you try. Thank you, and good luck.
Okay, so we have a slower than light ship here that has appeared in orbit over a planet that humans wanted to colonize, only to realize that during the 200 years of their travel, faster than light travel allowed Porima to be colonized well before they reached this location. So they want the planet. I'm sure the people on Paradiso are going to be unwilling to give up the planet, but we are going to go talk to them.
Careful waving that fancy gun around.
And we'll see. There's a lot of stuff that you can explore around here. You can check out how the generation ship works. You can talk to a bunch of the people here.
Now that we know what's out there.
That sort of stuff, and learn more about their particular choices and how they made it this far. And the ship turns into a maze, and I need to remember where I'm going. I think it's down here.
To think, all this time we learned about those who were alone.
Nope, it's not.
Just stay out of trouble.
This is the way that we took to get to the command bay. I know we came this way.
Just because our equipment's old doesn't mean it won't work.
It's here.
We were never trained to address threats coming from outside our ship.
Hello, and welcome back, Mr. Tofik. I am aware that this is your...
Okay, so we got a bit of a walk here to get over to where we're going. You will get to experience a lot more of Paradiso through some of your companion quests, specifically your companion romance quest. So we need to make sure that we do have our business suit on. If you want to take something to help you with your persuasion skill,
Just waltz in there.
you certainly
Do you have
can.
an appointment? Oh, you're the one they're waiting for then. Do you need anything else from me before you meet with the board? What I could tell you would get me in a lot of trouble. Most of them are typical C-level execs. I doubt you even need to use your imagination for that. The ones that show up to work day to day, at least. I swear, I've never even met some of them, because they chill at their own private secluded beach homes all the time. Anyway, be smart around Oliver. He's got a way of getting what he wants without you realizing it. And that's all I'll say. People were a little freaked out around here, understandably. It looks so different and it's so massive. We honestly thought we were under attack by an unknown entity. But then, nothing happened. It just stayed there. No one could communicate with it. And we've been very careful not to alert the resort guests. The board believed it would be bad for business. I can't speak for anyone else, but I've got a pretty high-pressure job working as the executive assistant to the Paradiso board. You can imagine, dealing with a team of execs, trying to manage all of their schedules and their other whims. But it pays well, and they give me a nice executive suite at the hotel to live in. So, it's not all bad. Free access to all the resort's amenities after work helps too. Sure. Have fun in the shark tank. And don't worry, even they call it that.
I just feel that we should be focusing on the
Loads more
natural
interesting
beauty
things
of
to
this
do
planet.
outside.
Not
No
our
need to mill about in
amenities.
here. I am. And you must be the diplomat Giro told me about. Welcome, welcome. Normally I'd offer you an all-inclusive stay at our resort before we spoke. But given the circumstances, I'm going to cut to the chase. We've got our friends, the aliens, up there, causing all sorts of problems for our resort. You like that? The marketing team came up with it. The thought is, if we can't get rid of them, it might actually attract more tourism. Come see the aliens! Ah, we're being direct then. Good on you. So, what do you know about this dodgy ship I'm hearing all about? Well, that's something. Shame we can't just tell them kindly to bugger off. Something tells me that's not going to work. Now, tell me, what are we going to do about it? Give me some proposals, people. I need something to work with here.
We could offer to resettle them here. There's more than enough space.
They could stay here, temporarily, but it'll cost them. Quite a bit, too. They'd need to work off all their debts before being allowed to leave.
Maybe not. What if we help them get out of here? Outfit their ship with a grav drive so they can find a new home. We could even lend our engineers to help and give their captain an updated star map. What do you think?
Sounds costly. We can't absorb that cost, and it's unlikely they even have compatible currency, let alone enough for the transaction. Someone else would have to foot the bill.
Oh, I swear this would be a lot easier if they ceased to exist entirely. Anyway, Seema's got the right idea. Either works for me. Just tell me what you want to do.
Okay, so there are really three choices here that you can select. And you can ask more about some of these things to gather more information about the choices. But the choices are that they can settle here. In that case, they would be indentured servants and they'd have to work off their debt, supposedly, to this corporation to live here in Paradiso. They're going to be surprisingly willing to do this, and you'll get some rewards out of it. You can also purchase them a grav drive. Now, they're not going to want to help you do it because they're cheap. And you're going to have to pay for it. It is quite a sum of credits, and you can use your persuasion skill to knock it down in half. But that would allow them to go somewhere else and possibly settle somewhere else, or you can destroy their ship. In the grav drive case, you're going to get the same loot that you would get by helping them settle on this planet. If you destroy their ship, you're obviously not going to get any loot at all. Okay, so you can learn more about it, about each of the choices.
And which proposal will you be taking to the good captain? I assume there's a captain?
Okay, I'm going to go with the grav drive. I'm not too worried about credits at this point. Credits are a very small thing in this game, honestly. So I'm going to go ahead and go this way. And for each of the three different options that you pick, there's going to be kind of a subquest that goes along with them.
Ah, good on you. You want to see a man named Benny St. James over at Hope Tech. He's the best in the business. If anyone can retrofit a 200-year-old ship with a modern grav drive, it'd be him. We'll coordinate our engineering team with his when you return, though you may have to help the Constant engineers prepare for it on their end. Good luck. Right. On behalf of the Paradiso Group, we appreciate your help.
There are millions of planets out there.
Okay, so we need to go to Hope Tech to get this. And now, as we've experienced in the past, Hope Tech can be kind of bugged because of the way that we played out the ending to the Freestar Collective missions, and that the security inside Hope Tech can still be hostile towards us. If you go in and they are hostile, if you just bypass them all and head up and talk to the person as quick as you can, there's going to be somebody up there who's going to be, or one of the security's probably going to be wanting to shoot you in the back the entire time. So it can be a little risky if the security's bugged out. But if you get the conversation over with quickly, then you normally don't take enough damage to be killed while you're doing it. But we're going to save before we go in there just to be on the safe side. Because again, this is a bug with the way the security flag has played out.
Yes? What?
So before we go in here, you see there's Hope Tech security out here, and they're not hostile towards us. So before we go in here, we're going to drop a quick save. Okay, and here we do have them being hostile towards us. So we're just going to run up here to the office. Stay away from those two. Close the door behind us and have a conversation here.
Oh, hello. Someone Sure, that sounds like me. What can I do for you? I'm a little busy, but I think I could spare some time. Oh, you should have just said that. Of course I can help you. Oliver sent a courier ahead of you. I did some research on ships from that era, and I have a decent idea what we're dealing with. So Grav drives didn't really take off until after...
Okay, so now we want to get through this conversation because the security's come up here.
It's pretty... Not sure about karma, but tell you what.
Okay, so we just did the auto persuade. We're going to pay for the credits.
I recommend we'll send the part along. Pleasure working with you.
Okay. And now we're going to get out of here. And you see I took a little bit of damage, but not much. And again, it's just those two security guards that are bugged out. Nobody else cares about you. I keep looking to see if that's on the list of bug fixes. I haven't seen it yet. Oh, we do need to fix the contusions that we got for jumping off the second story and hurting ourselves.
Howdy.
Off-worlders.
Okay, so once we're here, now we can fly back to the Constant. And we'll have our the finishing of the little sub-quest here. So the first part was to pick up the Grav drive. You can pay a full 40,000, or you can persuade him to drop it down to 25,000, which is what we did. Now we have to help their engineers install it.
The Constant is a peaceful ship.
And you can follow the signs for engineering.
Just because our equipment's old doesn't mean it won't work to take
People always appreciate a good engineer, whether they know it or not. I was hoping to talk to our visitor from outer space, and here you are! Welcome, welcome! I have a million burning questions, but I won't overwhelm you. There will be plenty of time for that later. Please, indulge me just a couple. How did you do it? Did humanity finally discover faster-than-light travel and eclipse our poor old ship? Oh, I've heard of this technology, but always believed it was theoretical in nature. Maybe we can talk about it in more detail later. I'm sure you have more pressing matters to handle. I've waited this long. What's a little longer, eh? Oh, I've got so many questions, but I'm being rude. I haven't even given you my name. Chief Engineer Kazemi, but you can call me Amin. And, I might add, I'm one of the reasons we're still floating out here today. Yes, of course. Anything for my new friend. What Grav drive? Just joking with you. The Paradiso engineers filled me in. Okay, let's see what we need to do.
Now you need to take some notes here
All right.
about what he
This
tells you
will
to
be
do and
fun.
which order he tells you to
And
do them.
Hopefully there will be no explosions in the process. I have just received word that the drive is here. Ready to get to work?
Okay, so from here you need to either look up a guide or take some notes about what needs to be connected to what and what settings things need to be turned to and that sort of stuff. If you have some points in the Starship Engineering perk, then you're going to get some hints about that when you are going through this. But if you don't, you need to know what the settings are and the order you need to connect stuff.
Great, great, great! There are 3 preparations I need you to help me make while I set things up on my end. First thing I need you to do is reroute the power from the port turbo pump to the auxiliary cryogenic radiator.
That's the first.
Then, turn the plasma runoff inhibitor function
That's the
to
second.
5%. Last,
And here's the
you'll
third.
need to decouple the magnetic flange pipe enclosures from the auxiliary module assembly. Got it? Let's hop to it.
Okay, and that's what I mean by taking some notes on it. Because it pops up in those 3 sentences, and your quest line is just prepare the ship for the Grav drive. However, you can look over here. So most people don't realize that this has the full explanation in it. And they just see this and they're not entirely sure what they need to do. So if you don't take notes on it, you can go into your quest log and look up here and see what needs to happen as you do it. So the first thing is that we need to reroute power from the port turbo pump to the auxiliary cryogenic radiator. And we're going to go to Alpha. Okay, so which system would you like to divert power from? So we need to reroute power from the port turbo pump, and this is why it gets confusing because there's a port cryo pump that is not correct. From the port turbo pump, reroute power to the auxiliary cryogenic radiator. So not the primary, the auxiliary. Okay, so that's complete. Now if you look at your quest line again, turn the plasma runoff inhibitor to 5%. So which system would you like to adjust? The plasma runoff inhibitor. Adjust power level 2, 5%.
Hey.
Then the last thing here is decouple the magnetic flange pipe enclosures from the auxiliary module assembly. Which system would you like to adjust? We're going to adjust the magnetic flange pipe enclosures. Perform which action? Decouple from which component? The auxiliary module assembly, not actuator, assembly. If you've done everything right,
Looks like
you'll be able to
everything is
talk
good
to
go, both your end
Captain
and mine.
Breckenridge because everything's installed. If not,
Go inform the captain
you'll
about
get a
the
much
finishing
different
installation.
outcome. And I'll leave it at that.
We've got strict rules about it. Careful waving that fancy gun around.
No matter the outcome, I won't let my crew down. Well, well, it would appear we have the means to go nearly anywhere now, thanks to you. The engineers even upgraded our communications equipment so we can speak with passing ships. Turns out it was a pretty easy fix. Thank you again for all you've done. We don't yet know, but we did receive a star map from the Paradiso engineers. I suppose we'll just chart a course for other suitable habitable worlds until we find one that matches the quality of Paradiso. Purima 2 here. Without you, we'd most likely be stuck. But you went above and beyond. I'll make sure people tell tales of your generosity for as long as our society lives. I don't know if we can ever fully repay you. Thank you again.
Okay, so we're going to get some items. You can see in the upper left-hand corner, we got a 45 caliber weapon, which obviously from current Earth standards, we got some antique items that we can sell off or we can take and use as decorations. And that's actually what we're going to do. We're going to go back to our apartment. In the residential district. Whoops, I forgot. Annoying.
Stay out of trouble. Never seen a ship like yours before. Then again, I haven't seen any ships. You're lucky we're underwater structures. Now that we know there are other people out there.
And there are some other things, like I say, that you can feel free to explore this entire ship. There's some cool stuff to take a look at, because once you leave here, you're not going to come back to the ECS Constant. Okay, so we're going to head over to Mercury Tower here, to our apartment. Okay, we're going to go back here to our bedroom, and we're going to put some of these items on this shelf over here. So we're going to start. We don't need to keep both, all versions of it. So we're going to drop off just one version of all of these onto the floor. Okay, so there's all of the antique items that we picked up. I did want to look at something else. Yeah, we obviously haven't done any of that yet, so I'm looking. Okay. So now here these items are down on the floor, and we can pick these up. If you don't know, there is an interact option with these, just like there has been in previous Bethesda games, where you can, instead of hitting the E key to take an object, you can hold the E key and you'll pick it up. Now the physics here can be a little strange. Again, Bethesda physics. If you've played a Bethesda game, you are very familiar with how Bethesda physics works. Meaning, like that. Bethesda physics. So, you get to a spot where you want to drop it, then you can hit the E key to release it, and it will drop down. Now, getting these things fine-tuned is always a pain. Always has been, always will be. And then once you get them positioned somewhere, as soon as you come into it again, they respawn sometimes, and they get all out of whack again. So, Bethesda, where, like I say, is what it is. But we're going to drop these things off over here. That one's actually not too bad, but my undiagnosed OCD is going to make me want to line this up a little better. Okay, so we'll just move it back a little bit. Okay, this is going to drive me nuts. Okay, that'll work. Put the basketball next to it. We'll actually put the basketball over here on this side of the picture. Oh boy. Okay, that's not too bad. Okay, and now the autographed, or the baseball, we'll put in the middle. Bethesda physics. Okay, and then we'll put the piggy bank up here as well. Now the piggy bank is a pain, because the piggy bank doesn't default to being dropped the way that you want it. So you kind of have to drop it on the ground and hope that it turns and lands on its feet. Because getting it to land correctly when you're looking at it like this is incredibly hard, because see, once you move your mouse up or down, it tends to not line up very well. So that actually worked out really well. It normally doesn't go as well like that, but you can see how it doesn't want to line up really. See, it's not going to want to move this way again. So let's go drop it, and then we'll try and pick it up from down here. Okay. Perfect. So you have to kind of finagle these around sometimes because the rotate options don't always line up with how you want it to rotate. So, but now watch, next time we come in here, these things will all be laying all over the ground or stuck up on the ceiling or other Bethesda physics things. So that's just normally how things work. Okay, so that finished off that quest. Oh, we can look at the location. Now, sometimes this quest is bugged out, which it looks like it is here again. Let's see if we can land on it again. Because I think I forgot to do this again. I think I ran into this last time, but we'll see. This quest will not be able to complete if you don't go around and talk to a few people. In my personal quest line, this bugged out, so I've never actually tested this not bugging out, so to speak. But the ECS Constant's still here, so I'm going to go talk to some of the major people around here.
So much more to learn about now.
And see if I can get this to not be bugged out. So the ones that just say colonist, I'm not too worried about, but some of the others I'm going to talk to.
Oh, I've heard about you. The visitor who helped us get into the situation we're now in, roaming the galaxy with no end in sight. Sorry, I don't mean to be ungrateful or rude. I'm just frustrated.
And this is what I didn't do in my personal playthrough. So we'll be experiencing this the first time here together. These little quests or little activities to do here on it will want to be active. But if the ECS Constant has already jumped away, you're not able to find the ship again. It doesn't appear. So this will stay in your quest log and it won't ever complete. So you want to make sure you deal with these things while you're here to make sure that the quest completes.
Still pretty terrible, even though we're now supposedly on our way to our new home. I'm still stuck here with the same people and the same job, day in and day out. Only now, we occasionally see other space travelers. I was really hoping we could finally settle somewhere, because then at least I could hitch a ride out of wherever we landed. Sometimes I wonder if my sister was the lucky one. Maybe so. Look, I'm just frustrated with all this. I'm venting. Let me vent, please. Certainly not what I want to do. I mean, I hate this job, and there's really nothing I can do about it. I'm the cultivation manager. Fancy words for farmer and fertilizer collector. I didn't have a choice. Most people don't. You get a job, and that's it. Like, I'm great at what I do, but I would enjoy doing literally anything else. Meanwhile, my sister Julia, she gets to hang out with kids all day and watch movies. The kids I couldn't care less about, but she doesn't even care about Earth culture. Ugh. Is it that obvious? Breckenridge is intent on finding a home just as perfect as Paradiso, and it's clear that's never going to happen. I'd love to leave. But outside of you and the occasional passing trade ships we make contact with, there aren't any ways off this ship. And besides, Breckenridge forbids it. I've tried. She insists we stay together for the sake of the community. I'm stuck here. It's a long shot. You've dealt with her. You know she can be stubborn. But then again, you did make her see reason before and set us on this path. Maybe you can do it again and fix this mess. Sorry. I know it may not sound like it, but I'd actually be really grateful to you if you succeed.
Okay, so there's one side quest that we've picked up. So let's go around and venture to some of the other areas of the ship here.
I wonder what else is out there.
Now that we know what's out there, things are going to be more interesting from here on out.
I wonder what it's like out there beyond our little community. We were so close to building our new home. Hopefully it won't be too much longer now.
I've lived my entire life in the Constant. I'm not sure how else to live.
Okay, so let's go back there and check that computer that we saw. There are a lot of initials on this list. That's kind of funny. My initials are on this list. Crazy sense of randomness, but yes, all of my initials are on that list.
Choices must be made. We did what we believed we needed to do to keep humanity alive on this ship. I hear you're the one who helped us out of that mess. It's good to meet you. I suppose I have you to thank for my husband Mabuti's continued survival. No, but he was in danger of being terminated. The ECS Constant had a very strict population control measure that we needed to enact because resources and living spaces were scarce. The eldest of us would volunteer to terminate themselves to make room when needed. Mabuti, being the kind soul he is, volunteered. It may seem harsh, but it was needed for our continued survival. I certainly hope so, too. It shouldn't. Indeed. There aren't many doctors on board. In addition to regular checkups, I perform surgeries, obstetrics, and other medical procedures. I also help train the next generation of doctors. After all, someone must. It's demanding work. In theory, yes. Thanks to you. Since we are free to travel wherever we want and communicate with other ships, we aren't worried about running out of supplies. So, voluntary terminations have been put on hold for the time being. Of course, we may still run into problems with living space aboard the ship if we go too long without finding a new home. We tried our best to avoid that through careful family planning. Rarely we ran into situations where things did not go according to plan. And then we needed to adjust and make difficult decisions concerning our community and resources. We never did anything without careful consideration. But at the end of the day, we needed to do what was best for the ship so as not to put everyone in jeopardy.
Okay, so it doesn't look like she has
Hold still for just a moment, please, while I look you over.
any particular
Nothing
quests.
seems off to me. Maybe a little dehydration or stress, perhaps. In any case, I wouldn't worry. Goodbye.
So, you start learning a little bit if you're not familiar with the science fiction involved, or just the science, I guess, involved in a generation ship. It really starts to bring forward some of the issues that you face here. being on an enclosed, completely enclosed environment, an ecosystem all to itself, with a limited population where hopefully you have genetic diversity accounted for, and the restrictions that that then places on the population of the ship. You always need to be training replacements for jobs. You can't just have your ship engineer grow old and die. You have to have somebody to replace them. And if everybody on the ship has a specific job, then that means your replacements all need to be prepped for a specific job as well. And that means, like we saw here, you might not get a job that you want. It's a job that needs to be prepped for because the person that you're replacing is getting old or has run into a mishap and can no longer do their job, but can teach you how to do it. So things like that you don't really think about very much when you live in an open world like we do. But that's not a luxury that would happen on a ship like this. So you learn about some of the very interesting science behind how things have to work when it comes to something like this. So if you're not familiar with it, I did a lot of science fiction reading when as a kid, so all of these theories about how they would work and that sort of stuff I'm very familiar with. But if you haven't done any of that and you're not familiar with how some of these things work, it can be really interesting to see the problems and technical things that need to happen to deal with something like this.
Keeping a 200-year-old ship running is no easy task. Yes, so many. Does everyone have their own spaceships like you? Do people only live on naturally habitable planets, or did they learn to terraform? Are we in contact with alien species? I have so many more, but I don't want to take up all your time. Haha! I knew it! Incredible! Amazing! Simply amazing! In our ancestors' time, only the very wealthy could afford to build ships. Even this ship was only possible by our families pulling together nearly all of their financial resources. I'm not surprised. The amount of energy it would take to terraform an entire planet seems improbable. I can assume these types of colonies are strictly for mining and gathering rare resources, since there are nearly limitless habitable planets to choose from out there. Disappointing, but not unexpected. When you showed up, I tried to tell the others about the Fermi Paradox. I suggested that the most likely explanation for you was that humanity had developed faster, more advanced technology and had leapfrogged us. Seems I was right.
So there's another thing thrown out there, if you're not familiar with it, the Fermi Paradox. This goes back a long way, but the conversation really goes back to a conversation that Enrico Fermi had with some physicists way back in, oh boy, the 1950s or something like that, when they were talking about UFOs and men from Mars and that sort of stuff. And I think the conversation was something like Fermi blurted out, but where is everybody? and that's a thing that physicists and astronomers have been dealing with for a very long time, is that the universe is a massive place. Human beings can't really grasp the extent of the universe and how many planets are out there around star systems and how many habitable planets, just statistically speaking, are going to be out there. And going back to that old saying, if there is nobody out there, it would just be an incredible waste of space. And that's the paradox, is the fact that there is a discrepancy between the...
You okay there?
The having no evidence of extraterrestrial life right now, but yet the fact that it's got to be out there somewhere because of the statistical probabilities of the size of the universe. So that's the paradox, is that there should be life out there, we just haven't found it yet, and that paradox is a little crazy to a lot of people. So it's funny to see these terms kind of thrown out there.
Thank you for taking the time to talk with me. I can have a bit of a big personality, I'm told. So let me know if I ever get on your nerves.
Okay, I don't think there's going to be...
Many years ago, when I was a junior engineer, the reactor's computer burned out. The computer that controls the reactor's various regulators. I'll spare you the details, but when that happens, the ship and everyone on it is in danger of turning into a mess of hot slag. I had to jury-rig parts from old media devices to prevent a meltdown. And that's how I became the boss around here. Some may say I'm a master of keeping things together with nothing but duct tape and bubblegum. Well, if we had any gum left. Pretty sure that ran out 100 years ago. When I'm not dealing with catastrophic engine failures, I manage the other engineers. We maintain all the machinery, computers, you name it. We keep the life support on, and the ship flying. Great question. I do not know for sure, but I can venture a guess. All of the reading I've done on the matter suggests that at the time, there was uncertainty that the technology would ever work, or if it did, that it would work at the scale we needed. So, I trust they made the decision to strike out when they did, fully believing it was the only way. See you!
Okay, so it doesn't look like we have any follow-up quests there.
Great. How many more days, months, years being cooped up here before...
Hey there. Yeah, we're running low on replacement parts for that one, so make do with what you can.
Sure is nice to know there are other people out there.
Hey, maybe you could help out Abe. He's been talking about needing someone with a ship.
It's almost time to take inventory of our stock again.
Okay, so there's an activity here to speak with Abe. We'll look at that here in a second.
Oh, hey! I've been hearing a lot about you. You're the one who helped us out of that mess so we can find a new place to live. I'm Daisuke, the Constant's provisions manager. It's nice of you to come back and visit so I can finally meet you in person. Let me know if there's anything I can help you with.
The idea of a shop is new to the crew, so business is pretty good in that sense. Most of the money goes towards our communal funds, though. And we get some business from various visitors and traders when we meet up with them. We sometimes dock with trade vessels and supply depots along the way. When we do, I manage to pick up goods to sell. We still provide most necessities to our crew, but they may buy extra or afford some luxury items. Sometimes, we even sell to visitors. I'll be honest, I'm not sure what some of this stuff is exactly, but it seems valuable.
Okay, so just a regular trader here. So the advanced XM2311 is a really good pistol. We got one given to us, and it should be in our list here. Yeah. So this one was given to us. You can see this one has armor-piercing rounds. Already has a mod with a suppressor and a red dot sight. This is, like I say, it's a really good pistol to have. The advanced mag shot is obviously better than the one that we have. And we haven't modded the advanced mag shot either in this case. But yeah, this is still a good pistol to have, and the fire rate is a lot higher than the mag shot is. So even though the individual damage on the mag shot's higher, you can deal out more damage faster with the XM2311. However, with only 9 in the mag compared to 6 in the mag, you're still going to run out of the advanced mag shot and have to reload more often than you do with the advanced XM2311. So overall, they're 6 of one, half dozen the other when it comes to it, but you can deal out a lot of damage faster with the XM2311. The mag shot here with staggering, anti-personnel, and elemental is still going to be better overall.
Be seeing you.
So nothing here. We did pick up an activity to speak with Abe.
Great. How many more days, months, years of being cooped up here before we find a new place?
Okay, so an elevator up to the classroom.
We were never trained to address threats.
I wonder what else is out there.
And to think, all this time, we thought we were alone.
Doesn't look like anything else in particular here.
Really? Yeah. Hey, everyone! Miss Julia said we could watch it again.
And then maybe we can watch one of the sequels some other time.
I'll be honest. While I'm disappointed we have to put off finding a new home, I'm glad my job is still as relevant as ever. Oh, hi! Hello! You're the alien. Sorry, old habit. Let me start over. You're the person who helped us with our little dilemma, aren't you? Sorry, yeah. Deep breath. Here we go. I'm Abe. Levitz. Abe Levitz, cabin manager on board the ship, so I'm happy to help you with anything you need during your stay with us. I'm happy to schmooze with you anytime. Oh, you heard? I was just kvetching to myself. Mostly I just need to find someone with a ship, but hey, you're someone with a ship, aren't you? I'll save you the spiel, but ever since we found out that people exist out there, the crew's been asking me if we could track down possible relatives. I made the mistake of looking some up, and now they want to connect with them. Now, I'm not gonna ask you to schlep anyone back and forth, but could you deliver these messages for us to connect our crew with their relatives? Oh, you're such a mensch! Thank you! Let me get you the letter and the information you'll need to track down the relative.
Okay. So we can go help out some people. That's always interesting. So there's the family reunion quest that popped up.
I wonder what it's like out there, beyond our little community.
These are exciting times, aren't they?
Hey. I lived my entire life in the Constant. I'm not sure how else to live.
Okay, we're just looking around to see if there are any additional quests to pick up. We're going to head back over here.
Now that we know there are other people out there, just stay out of trouble.
Sure is nice to know there are other people out there.
Okay, so this is all marked as steel in here. So a bashing version of the advanced XM20. That was advanced, right? Yep. So if you want to steal it, you can. Just go into hiding and make sure you don't get caught while you're doing it.
Careful waving that fancy gun around. We don't need to see.
There was a conference room.
Hey there.
Don't think there's anything in here that we need to deal with. And we've already been in here. Yeah, here's the records room with its conference room. We'll check on here.
Wow. Hi.
We were so close to finding our new home. Hopefully it won't be too much longer now.
Okay, so nothing here. So let's go up. We've gone to the crew quarters. We've gone through the mess hall. We've gone through security, records. We didn't go into the brig.
The Constant is a peaceful ship. No change.
Okay, doesn't look like there's anybody in the brig. Hopefully that won't be us. If you get caught, I'm sure this is where you end up. If you get caught stealing or something.
Just because our equipment's old doesn't mean it won't.
So let's head back out here to the lift.
Wow, I've heard about you, but...
So there's a classroom here also.
You're less weird than I thought you.
Hello there. Given that I don't know you, you must be this visitor I've been hearing so much about. I'm Julia, the Constant's chief historian. It's nice to meet you on this momentous occasion.
So here is the sister that was mentioned previously. It looks like they might be twins.
You must have been speaking with my sister. There's more to it than that. Officially, I'm assigned to the role of chief historian. Generations ago, it used to be lawkeeper of humanity, but that seemed a bit too lofty. While I don't think my job is as important as captain, engineering officer, or cultivation manager, it's still vital to our mission. Thanks for saying so. As chief historian, I can tell you a lot, probably. What do you want to know? ECS stands for Earth Colony Ship. We wanted a fairly inclusive name to represent the planet, and not a particular nation of origin. There was an old colony ship that sailed across the oceans of Earth from a country called England to settle on a new continent. It was called either the Susan or Sarah Constant. No one seems to know for sure, so ours was shortened to just Constant. Ironically enough, that ship also reached what they thought was new land, and found it populated when they arrived. As chief historian, I can tell you a lot, probably. What do you want to know?
Now that's actually really interesting, because it actually was the Susan Constant. The Susan Constant was the name of the ship that founded Jamestown in Virginia. Way back in the 17th century, the early 17th century. So the original founding of the United States. English settlers coming across to the New World. And yeah, the Susan Constant was the name of the old sailing ship that founded the colony of Virginia.
Well, we launched Tuesday, September 27th, 2140. So, about 190 years now. Would have been longer, but it turns out we have an ace navigator who saved us some time with some tricky maneuvers. We're the descendants of wealthy elites, intellectuals, artists, scientists, and others who left Earth in 2040 to spread humanity to the stars. The thinking was that Earth's days were numbered for a variety of reasons. Our finder, Rupert Brackenridge, had the foresight to plan for the worst. Thus, he constructed this colony ship to settle what seemed like the most habitable planet we could find, knowing full well it would take generations to reach. We suspected that we may have been the only ones to leave Earth, given that no one else seemed to have the same idea. I'm glad we appeared to be wrong. You know where to find me if you ever want to know more. Goodbye.
I'm glad you're not an alien, but that would have been so...
Okay, so some interesting history lessons there too. Okay, and now I know where we are. We're back up top again. So we'll head up to the command bay. make sure we
Just
have our
because equipment's
persuasion
old
stuff on.
doesn't mean it won't work to take down troublemakers.
We've roamed the stars for almost 200
And talk
years.
to
What's a little
Diana
longer?
Brackenridge.
My crew may not realize it now, but we will be much happier with a home of our own. I'm well aware of Janet's desire to leave. I'll tell you the same thing I told her. For the sake of our mission and community, we need to stay together. Each member of our community is valuable, especially Janet. If she left, we'd be at least a couple of weeks behind in food production while we train someone to fill her role. But I suppose if you brought us more food staples to tide us over while that happens, we could do it. Say, a large quantity of potatoes?
I don't know how I have 50 potatoes.
Sorry, that's not going to be enough.
Okay.
If we're really going to do this, you'll need to bring me more. Let me know when you've got what I'm asking for.
Okay, so now I guess the question is, how do we get potatoes?
That planet was not right for us anyway. No doubt the next one will be.
We were never trained to... There's threats coming from outside our ship.
Because
Captain.
I think, actually, I think I might know a place that I remember selling food, but I need to go check. Wow.
Careful waving that fancy gun around.
Because I think there's a food seller. Well, that's interesting. I might be able to buy it at a couple of places, but let's go over to... Sidonia. I don't have any clue how many is they're going to sell here, and I have to remember where this shop is.
Deluxe condos aren't anything special, but plenty of people go. Keeper Aquilus delivered what was by all accounts
Condominiums.
the responsibility of man. A small gathering of saints of universal faithful.
It might be down here. Yeah, here it is.
My shop may not look special, but it's locally owned and independent. Hi, welcome to Jane's, Sidonia's only 100% independent one-stop shop. I apologize if I'm a little distracted. I'm currently dealing with a little issue, but please let me know if there's anything I can get for you.
So you can pick up another side quest here. Let's see
Sure
what she
thing.
has for sale.
Take a look.
I think in my personal playthrough I remember yeah. Yep, okay. Oh, 4. Okay. We needed 50.
See you around.
Okay, well there's a stool right here, but I can't remember what the time dilation on Mars is. 1 hour, 3 minutes, so we'd have to... No, I'm not going to sit through all of this. We'd have to do this something like 13 times if we get 4 every time. I'm gonna run, while this is running, I'm gonna run a quick search here. See if there's a better way to get potatoes. Okay, actually, I think I have a better way to go about it. So instead of waiting for the additional 24 hours here, let's go to... Let's go to Titan
Welcome
here.
to UC Space. Maintain your current course while we scan your ship's cargo. And we're done.
I think the time dilation here is better. I don't think I've ever been to this store here, but we'll take a look at it.
Welcome to New Homestead. Please make your way to the building at the end of the path and down into the colony below. Stay safe and enjoy your visit.
So New Homestead is a side quest that we haven't gone through yet.
Hello?
Heads up if you're planning on going to Chunks. Luther's been bothering anyone with a ship for home.
And again, picking up a bunch of quests just going through here. I think the shop is going to be downstairs, but...
Some of us are quite happy with our lives here. We don't need tourists distracting us with their flights of fancy. We used to get more tourists than we do these days.
So let's head down into here and we'll see if the shop is down here. Again, there's a whole storyline behind New Homestead here. I don't think you can buy... Well, we'll check here.
Nice to see this place still has the same
I prefer not to talk to Luther yet. He's part of a side quest.
What can I get for you?
Okay, so you're only buying chunks here. Which makes sense, at chunks.
We've got the best chunks in the settled system.
Well, what did we think of the tour?
Very informative. I didn't
So
know about the
here's-
methane harvesters before coming here.
Roundhouse style. That's a nice outfit you got. I could probably offer you a good price for it. Well, hello there, and welcome to my little shop. Are you visiting New Homestead for the first time? Oh, nice. You know, it's always such a pleasure to meet people from other worlds. Or just space. I don't judge. I'm Jay. I'm happy to help you find what you're looking to buy or take a look at whatever you want to sell. Trades of all kinds are welcome here. Or if you have any questions for me about the shop, the merchandise, or even just New Homestead in general, I'm happy to help you.
It could have been ripped off.
Sure thing. I'm also interested in buying if you have anything for sale.
Okay, so let's see what he has here. So, one. Okay. So we didn't get very lucky with the amount he's got there.
It's one thing to learn about early colony life.
Is there somewhere to rest around here? Yes. How long's the time dilation here? Okay. So you only have to wait Oh, just short of 3. You have to wait 4 hours. So this isn't too bad. So instead of waiting 48 hours, we only have to wait 4. So let's hope we get luckier with the amount he's got.
I'm always looking to trade. Maybe we can make a trade.
One again. If we're going to keep getting one, then
Take
this
care.
is going to be pointless to do. I was hoping I'd be able to find this fairly quickly. Because again, not the most engaging gameplay that y'all have been ever forced to watch. So we won't sit here and do this. It looks like the ECS Constant is staying in place. It's not bugged out like it was in my personal playthrough, so we probably are going to be able to come back to these. I would hate to miss out on them
You've got it. I also take trade-ins.
by going away from here too much. Wow, you're getting one at a time here.
Enjoy the rest of your day.
That's kind of crazy. Because I was getting 4 at the other place, I'd have to wait 48. This is only waiting 16. So I guess it's still better to go from here. And it takes you 15 seconds or so to wait to get the autosave so you can get up. So probably a round trip of
People actually live like this.
30 seconds or something like that.
If you're looking to trade, please.
So there's 4 potatoes. Okay, thank goodness. We're getting better.
Come back anytime.
So Madeline says there's a restaurant there. Where, Madeline? You mean back on the ECS Constant? That would be funny if I could buy potatoes at the ECS Constant to give to her when the ECS Constant needs more potatoes to release her.
So much here. Huh?
Everyone, big deal. At least once in their life.
Hi there. Hi there. Welcome to my... Absolutely. Hopefully I've got what you're looking Enjoy the rest of your day.
Is that restaurant here?
I cannot overstate.
The Brown Horse Tavern. We can see, I guess, if they sell. Is
Pull
this
up
the
a seat.
one that
I'll
you're
take care of
talking
you.
about? I see. Okay.
Welcome. I'm Anya. Is
So
this
we
your
might
first
be able to
time
buy
with us at the
potatoes
Brown
here,
Horse
buy them
Tavern?
in 2 different spots before we rest once. Okay, well, let's see if we can do that.
Thank you for joining us. You're in for a real treat. We've got an assortment of food and drinks, some of which follow homemade recipes that have been passed down over hundreds of years. So, what can I do for you? Let me show you what we have.
Okay, doesn't have potatoes this time. They may have it next time.
So long. Tell your friends about us.
Unless we can steal potatoes.
It's a little weird.
And
that
then
people
have
come
them
here to see
respawn.
what early colony life was like. To me, it's just how it is.
If
Why not
only
order
they
some
needed
food
lemons.
And make yourself comfortable.
Potatoes 44. Where can I get my hands on those? None of these are searchable. And we'll go back to the Chunks computer over there. Like Madeline says, we'll check it out too. That's right up here at the top.
Ooh, it's so cold here. I guess I should.
So it doesn't look like that one works. I don't know if Luther has any more. I know Luther's gonna give us the opportunity to start another quest.
This colony's a lot smaller than I thought it would be.
So facilities and storage are down here.
Hello there.
Here's facilities. Where's storage at? Storage is this way.
New Homestead is a living history exhibit.
So I think it just means the storage in the back there.
How about those brownouts last week?
I know.
Get used to the
I'm just
methane
glad the
processing
auxiliary power picked up. Remember that time a few years
Yeah, I think it just means this.
Did you know the museum here is
The
full of
tourists
old
hated
art?
that.
We'll check down in facilities though, just to be clinic, lounge, storage, maybe this way.
I could really go for some of Anya's cooking over the Brown Horse.
Doesn't look like it. Looks like more living quarters here. Following the signs. Storage that way.
I can't wait to go away on my learning vacation when I grow up.
But it looks like they've turned the storage here into living quarters of some type.
Brownouts.
Again, we're going to pick up side quests as we wander around this place.
Hey.
Yeah, I think this is the storage that they're talking about. None of these are searchable.
Lots of history here, if you're into that sort of thing.
We can see if there's anything in the lounge here. Doesn't really look like it. Okay, well, I could probably go through here and see if there's anything else. Yeah, looks like everybody's in some of the online forums are just talking about how it's how it's just a pain to get them. But this is one of the quickest, so we'll see how lucky we get here. Yeah, Madeline, that's what I remember that part. That's why I kind of wanted to avoid talking to Luther. You can start that subquest. It's or side quest again. It's just a little extra thing that pops up.
I'm always looking. If you're looking to trade, I'm happy. Absolutely. Hopefully,
I
I've
could
got
look
what you're
around
looking for.
behind him, I guess, and see if there are any potatoes to steal back behind him.
Take care.
It doesn't look like it. And potatoes aren't something that I'm normally stocking up on. I never really got into the food in Starfield nearly as much as I did in Skyrim. Skyrim, a lot of the food offered you benefits that a lot of the, especially when it came to experience and leveling up and that sort of stuff,
Did you see those wind turbines out there?
that some of the aid items in here give you. So I was much more interested in getting that
I'm also interested in
in
buying.
Skyrim, but I don't. It's so easy to level up here that never really invested in food very much. So how many do we have? Do we even have 20 yet?
Come back anytime.
Because if we don't, I'm not, like I say, not going to waste you guys' time. 18. Yeah, we're not going to waste any more time.
Of advice.
So I'll take care of that off stream. Hopefully the ECS Constant is not going to disappear on us, but we'll see. Let's go do the family reunion quest while we're here. So that's actually right here. We just needed to exit out of that. I have no idea why I fast traveled here again. Oh, because she's in a different spot? No, she's inside.
Enjoy your visit here.
Oh yeah, that's very true as well, Madeline, is that if you've chosen DNA tree, yeah, most of the food items aren't going to do anything for you anyway.
Careful. There are some dangerous areas around here that are not part of it.
It was a pretty interesting coincidence that this mission is also in this place I chose to go to.
That's way more us wherever you come from than it is here.
Some say New Homestead.
I'm a little busy. Make it quick.
Maybe it is. But
Okay, so
that
we've got
doesn't
some
really bother
persuasion
me.
here that we need to do.
Well, that's news to me. I thought I knew about all my relatives, so you'll forgive me if this is hard to believe.
Okay, so we only need 4 here. We do have some commerce skill.
Fame and fortune, you say? Oh, I hadn't thought of it like that. Oh, I could help tell this story. Maybe I owe it to them to talk. It's the least I could do. Okay, let me take a look at what you've got there. Yeah, thanks, but I really don't have time for more family. I hope they don't expect a response. Better yet, tell them I'm dead. That you did. I'm still trying to think it over. I definitely wasn't expecting this today. Wish me luck, I guess.
Okay, so interesting reaction from her. Well, let's see if we can fast travel from out of here. Back to the ECS Constant. So the ship icon is still there, which is good. That's what glitches out. Is the ship icon doesn't even show up, so you're not able to travel to the location that has the ECS Constant. You should be playing but love watching. I actually do the same thing, Madeline. I like watching other people play through the game as well for some strange reason when I should be playing myself. But I appreciate you being here. Like I say, the comments are always helpful. That's why I like my chat so much. You guys are great about offering up helpful hinting and stuff like that, especially like today when there was no prep for the live stream due to the issues I've had this week with the construction and everything. So I appreciate you guys' input.
You're lucky we're under orders not to escort you right
lived my entire life in the Constant.
Actually, Abe's down here. I believe. Yes.
Again, I really appreciate your help finding our... Oh, good. Let's hear it. Family's not for everyone, I suppose. Especially distant family, like this. Oh, well. Thank you for doing this for us. Let me know if you're willing to do it again.
Okay, so got some more antique items. There's an antique earth duck figure there. So it looks like this might be... Let's see if...
Oh, what am I gonna
Yeah, it looks like you might be able to continue completing this. We'll do one more.
I've got more. Good, good. You're doing us.
And let's see if... And again, like I say, I haven't played this myself because the ECS Constant was glitched out in my playthrough. But I'm anxious to know if
We've got strict rules around
after
here.
a certain number of these you end up with a reward of some type, or this is interesting. It leads you up here.
Hi there.
I don't even know if you can mantle this.
Boy, am I glad you weren't some sort of alien or something.
Yeah, I don't even think you can. It leads you there.
Out there. Things are going.
You need to go to the lift
There's so much more to learn about.
to get up
The
there,
Constant is a peaceful ship.
or head up this way and around.
Never seen a ship
Oh,
like
is that still... Yeah, that's still got the Diana quest there.
years before. Well, then again, I haven't seen any ships.
So what was the quest that just popped up there? Is it going to be this one?
Were you arrived?
I wasn't paying attention when it popped up. Either way, we can't be in here to fast travel. Annoying. And it's back this way.
Just stay out of trouble.
I don't think this is it. I think Juliana... Yeah, it might have been a quest that we picked up while we were on Titan there previously. When we were on New Homestead. But if it is and it leads to another side quest, then I can continue doing it, and I'll just pick up potatoes off stream and get that ready and keyed up for next time.
to New Homestead.
Thinking at this point I probably should have just tried to persuade her to let Janet go. Instead of trying to find 50 potatoes. Like I say, I hadn't done any of these quests myself, so... It's an interesting thing to pick up, though.
Feel free to look around. Don't touch.
If you take one of those stupid tours, make sure to follow the rules. They're for your own safety. And my sanity. Great! Another tourist. Let me guess. You slipped on the ice and need a doctor to wrap your sprained ankle? I appreciate that you're trying to set me at ease, but that might as well be the same. Sorry for how I responded. It's not you, it's me. I'm just frustrated about all the non-native people I need to treat when our own still need help. Anyway, what can I do for you? It's a harsh world, but as long as you're inside or wear a suit when going out, you'll be fine here. There's no breathable air on the surface, and you'll quickly freeze to death outside without protective gear, but otherwise the hazards are minimal. New Homestead was an early colony research base and has stood the test of time. It's safe, and it's proof that people can live pretty much anywhere. Don't worry so much. I don't. They make a mockery of New Homestead culture. And on top of it, they're reckless. It's like I said before, I feel like I'm treating them more often than our own people. Actually, maybe there is. I have an idea that may be best suited for someone relatively unknown, instead of myself. I've got a mountain of work and a reputation to maintain. So I bought a realistic monster costume. The plan was to wear it, scare tourists away, and start a rumor about terrible creatures living on Titan. I figure that once word gets around, tourism will take enough of a dive to give me some relief.
I completely forgot about this quest. I should have recognized it when it was going to talk to Juliana. I should have remembered it. This one, yeah, I guess this is a good one to do on stream. For those of you who haven't seen this before, it's going to be rather interesting. And yeah, Madeline, that's exactly what I'm kind of looking for. Is there's a few of those things where you can get people out of situations, you meet up with them later, and that's kind of what I was hoping was going to happen with that. I just don't have 50 potatoes on me right now. This is going to be fun.
Maybe, I'm not sure. I know it sounds crazy, but I don't have any other ideas. The tourism board flat out won't help me, and I don't have money in the budget to hire additional help. And you know these tourists will believe anything they see and hear. I think it's worth a shot. Worst case scenario, I'm back to square one. Oh, good. I was hoping not to have to do it myself, so I'm glad to have a volunteer. Here's the costume. I think this will work best on the surface, so just find a group and run up to them, acting like a convincing alien monster. With any luck, they'll run screaming and book the next flight out of here.
Okay, so this is hilarious. When I first saw this, I wasn't entirely sure
Don't stay outside for too long here on Titan.
what this was going to be about. Whoops. No, this is fine. Yep.
Lots of history here.
Okay. Just going outside here. So, the monster costume is what it says it is. Okay? You're wearing a monster costume, and you need to go scare tourists. Now, the tourists out here this is interesting where this marker's placed.
It's going to eat us! Run!
This is one of the stupidest, but at the same time one of the funniest quests that you can do. The funny part about this is what happens when you wear this suit in other places. When you like wear it around Jemison and things like that, that's where things just get honestly hilarious. So it's always fun to keep it around, and yeah, the marker changed over to New Homestead finally. This is one of those unique things that you can pick up, and always adds an interesting bit to experiment with and play with. I need to make sure I put all that on. Should have done that while I was inside, but no lasting damage. Because yeah, the monster costume does act as a spacesuit, so you can wear it outside in hostile environments. That is true, Madeline. It is funny. It's one of those quests that gets put in as a comic relief.
Nice to get off world sometime.
And like I say, the real fun is when you take that and you wear it around something like, you know, New Atlantis or something like that. And this is the only way to get the monster suit.
I'll treat you if you need it, but please try to be more careful. Oh, I'm glad it worked. I'm just happy I was able to find someone willing to help with this ridiculous idea. Tell you what, if you want to come back later and do this for me a couple more times, I'll even let you keep the costume. What can I do for you? I bought it from a private seller. They said they got it from someone who wore it in a secondary school as their sports team mascot. I guess it was supposed to be a tardigrade or something. Anyway, the person I bought it from modified it a bit so they could use it in an independent movie they were making. But I guess that went nowhere, so they had to sell it. Lucky me, I suppose.
So...
Try to be careful out there.
Oh, you can actually wait here. I don't know... Oh yeah, Titan, I already looked at it. It's 4.
You wouldn't believe how many off-worlders think hiking the surface of Titan is all fun and games. But a lot of thrill seekers end up in my office.
Oh boy. Bethesda.
Do you need medical assistance? Even though we don't have shiny new medical facilities, I imagine it's easier than wherever you're from. We have fewer people here, and we're very responsible when it comes to our personal health and welfare. So there's not much I can't handle. For anything else, we can get access to off-world specialists. Contrary to popular belief, we're not primitive.
Oh, I need to travel out of here and
Be well.
come back to activate it again.
We used to get more tourists than we do these
But yeah, like she said, you can come back here and scare off more tourists, and after a while you get access to it. She'll just give it to you. So it is something relatively fun to do, and I might as well, while I'm
Happy to
here,
help. Sure thing.
buy up his
I'm also
potatoes.
interested in buying if you have anything for sale.
One.
Enjoy the rest of your day.
Okay, so
New homestead is a living history,
for the last
but these are real
30 minutes, there is something that I want to do, and let's see if I can fast travel from here. So trying to remember, it's around in here somewhere. I believe. I don't think it's out this far. There it is. We're gonna go to Charybdis. Haven't been here before, and this will trigger the first time that you enter the system. Now I gotta remember. Where it is again. I just had it. It's going to be one that's not lit up because I haven't been there before. I think it's around here. There it is, Charybdis.
Yes, you're here. Repeating emergency request. Facility crucible requires vital materials to sustain the mission. Transmitting coordinates on Charybdis 3.
I want to be as good a co-pilot for the captain as I am for you.
Okay, so as soon as you jump in here, you're going to get a message to go to Charybdis 3. And yes, it is the Crucible here.
Great job, straight me. I'm proud of you. What do you say? Okay, next up, planet side.
It still fits, Dad. And I love it.
Okay, so Charybdis here, we should have picked up Operation Starseed as soon as we got here. Okay, so we're going to talk to Tobias. And Tobias is this robot hanging out here in front.
Human of unknown origin detected. Designated outsider. This is an undisclosed secret location. Please identify purpose or depart. Acknowledging receipt of emergency request. Explanation deemed acceptable. Clearance granted to Crucible. Outsider will deliver 150 units of copper. Compensation will be dispensed.
Tobias, stand down. We have a visitor.
Reminder, deliver required material. End of conversation.
This is incredible. For so long we hoped for any visit, and the day has finally arrived. Oh dear, that's a surprisingly tricky question. I'm probably not the person to answer it, but it is a genuine pleasure to meet you. I wish it were even better. Your arrival is truly an historic one, but many fear what it portends. The societies have closed their doors and are arguing about what to do, while the rest hide to see which way the wind blows. Franklin would know what to do. He's the oldest among us. You should talk with him.
So this is a walking history lesson. And yes, Madeline, I did do this in my personal playthrough. That's why I wanted to spend a little time here doing this. There's one main quest. There are 3 side quests that go along with this location here. But like I say, it's a walking history lesson. Ada Lovelace is actually Ada the Countess of Lovelace. She was an English scientist / writer. And she was, mainly known for her work on a general purpose computer, the analytical engine, which was thought up by Charles Babbage. So there's a whole history here that goes into a lot of different things. And you're going to see this as you go through this quest here. It leads to some very interesting recollections and conversations and that sort of stuff.
Most of us are like me, free and unaligned. But there are 3 societies that are oft at odds with one another. The Believers, the Pragmatists, and the Renegades. It would be wise to meet each of them. Franklin leads the Pragmatists. Crucible is a tinderbox, and any spark will set it off. We're still recovering from a deadly conflict that happened 3 years ago. Far fewer of us are here to greet you today because of it. Give it time, and I'm sure the others will come out. For curiosity's sake, if nothing else.
Okay. And will I do the opposite this time? I'm not entirely sure. This quest, when I played it, could have been seriously bugged. And led to not being able to complete it. I'll be anxious to see if it's going to be bugged here again when we go through it.
When your ship landed, I feared the robots would shoot you on sight. I am greatly relieved that they let you enter our community. But you come during a delicate time. Everyone will seek to use your arrival to further their own ends. Where to begin? Maybe an introduction? I am Franklin Delano Roosevelt, leader of the Pragmatist Society. It is gratifying that even after all these years, my name isn't entirely forgot. You see, I was an American president. Well, not literally, but in a sense I was. Everyone that lives here are clones. Some of us are clones of the greatest figures of history, and others, well, we don't rightly know. When we die, and some of us die quite often, we are brought back. I cannot imagine how strange this must sound to an outsider.
So again, Franklin Delano Roosevelt, the 32nd President of the United States, took over the presidency during the Great Depression here in the United States. So again, another walking history lesson.
To us, it's just the way things are. After decades, centuries of trying to figure it out ourselves. There is so very much we don't know either. The robots clone us for a reason. Their so-called mission. But what that is, and what we should do about it, is something the societies disagree about. Sometimes violently. It's best you meet with the other societies, and after, I promise I'll explain the pragmatist's position on matters. Be careful what you wish for. Word has been sent, so the street should be full again. There is more I would talk with you about, but I would not take advantage of your ignorance. Go speak with Amanirenas and Genghis Khan.
Oh boy. Couple of names there. One of them...
I might have some stuff you could use in stock. Welcome to town, stranger. Consider me part of the welcoming committee. The name's Wyatt Earp, and I'd be most pleased if you'd use one of the spare rooms during your stay. For a modest fee, of course.
Okay, so, again, Wyatt Earp, very famous in the American Old West, including a lot of places in Kansas, specifically Dodge City, where he was involved in a lot of things, but most famously as a marshal. And in a town I'm very familiar with, Wichita, Kansas, and again in Dodge City, Kansas, and a lot of that stuff. Very famous in American history for a lot of the things that he got up to during all that time.
You and me both there. I do the best I can to uphold the law, but the societies make that difficult. I expect I've had as much success restraining Genghis as the Chinese did. I do what I can. Roosevelt and I are both of the same mind on that. I can work with that. Well, I hope you enjoy your stay. And by the by, I may have access to some essentials I've picked up over the years. Happy to sell them to you. It runs hot and cold. During usual times, it's an occasional scuffle, maybe a black eye when an argument gets out of hand, and then a society goes on a rampage and it's tombstone all over. I hope your arrival keeps things on an even keel.
So, Tombstone is another reference to a very famous portion of Wyatt Earp's history, and there have actually been a couple of movies made about Wyatt Earp and that sort of stuff, so don't want to waste your time going on a huge history lesson here, but there's a whole lot of references here.
Take a load off.
For it.
The customer is always right.
See if he happens to have any potatoes. No.
I'm hoping you come back for some repeat business.
Okay, here's another figure here, which you might recognize is actually a pretty good likeness of Amelia Earhart.
I feared that we were all that was left of humanity. Your ship, she's a beauty. It travels the stars, right? Tell me, what's it like out there?
Can the stranger be trusted?
I don't know if that's flattery or curiosity. My name's Amelia Earhart. When I first woke up in this place, in my head, I knew all about my namesake, her life and her accomplishments. But I also knew how to fly a starship, reactor limits, thrust acceleration vectors and everything. In my mind's eye, I can imagine flying out there, touching heaven itself. And yet, cruelly, here I sit.
So Amelia Earhart, again famous back in the 1920s and 1930s. She was the first woman to make a solo transatlantic flight in the early 30s, maybe late 20s, early 30s. And then famously during her attempt to be the first woman to make a flight around the globe. Her plane and her navigator disappeared over the Pacific Ocean, and were never found again. So again, a very, very famous person in American and I would say world history,
talking,
but
right?
again, American history as well.
Funny, some of us have had the same thought about you. Listen, I know you owe me nothing at all, but I would do anything to get off of here. I know the societies want who knows what from you for who knows why, and I don't want to get involved in any politics. I just want, for my single self, a chance to explore. You won't regret it. Thanks. Do you want to talk about anything else? No, I don't. I consider myself a most ardent admirer of hers. She feels like family. Distant family. I like to think we both share a kindred spirit of adventure, though. She broke so many barriers in her life. I would love the same opportunity one day. Thanks for your time.
Okay, and you're going to talk to Amelia some more. But we do have quest markers to talk to 2 more people. One name you probably do know and one that you probably don't. So we'll go talk to Genghis Khan over here, and for that we're going to need to have a weapon.
Stranger! Weapons out! They come!
And the woman from the stars, come to see me. And you're not afraid to get your hands dirty. I guess the world out there is not so different than here. Genghis Khan, a pleasure to meet you.
So, Genghis Khan, Temujin was his name, was obviously a very famous person back in the early 13th century. He was the Khan of the Mongol Empire, who obviously had, after he consolidated his power, got into large-scale raids and conflict with the early Chinese dynasties, and extended his power across a lot of Central Asia. So, again, controversial figure, at the very least.
Some sort of test.
But an interesting figure here, and you kind of see how this dynamic starts to play out between the different people here.
Manners cost me nothing. But make no mistake, I will do whatever it takes to escape this prison.
I am pleased that the dangers out here are of no concern to you. You cannot be fully human if you trap yourself behind walls. The robots taught me many things any Mongol would know. So, hunting game, even such as this, is little challenge to me. So Franklin told you of us. Oh, that we're clones? Some of us think that makes us special. That the deeds of our namesakes are somehow ours. But that is blind arrogance. We are just people. Same as you. Same as anyone. Perhaps you are right. Certainly, many in Crucible would agree. But all this talk gets us nowhere.
Too many of the others grovel at the feet of the damned robots. trying to play the roles in a broken game. The renegades will not submit. And one day, we will be free. I do not know. Everything outside of Crucible is unknown to us. I imagine the settled systems are not so settled that a man who does not shrink from violence can't make a place for himself, though. Were it that easy, I have died a dozen deaths trying to find a way out of Crucible. You get too far or disobey too much, then death. Crucible holds our lives in its hands. But now, the robots have made a grave mistake. You can go where none of us can. You hold our future in your hands, and all the societies know it. Oh yes, you can go 1 or 2 miles from Crucible, and you drop dead. I have no knowledge of medicine, but it's probably poison. It boils my blood to be subjugated like this. But too many of the clones are sheep. As long as their pens are clean and comfortable, they bleat their arguments. Even if you think I deserve this cage, does everyone? If you want your heartstrings tugged, talk to Amelia Earhart. Doesn't she deserve the stars she craves? I propose this. The robots come from someplace far to the east. We call it the Facility, a place none of us can get to. But with you and your starship, it would be easy. Go there and break our shackles. Set us free.
Okay, so Genghis Khan, obviously same Genghis Khan that we all know, and like the initial conversation was, you think if you free him, things are probably going to go badly for the rest of the galaxy. The last name you probably don't know is Amanirenas. Now, it was really cool that they introduced her as a historical figure here. You can tell by her outfit that she looks Egyptian. More precisely, she's Kushian, or from the Kush Empire. This was back before, this is in the 1st century BC, during the Roman expansion in Egypt into the lands of the Kush, which right now is North Africa. I think it's Sudan or something like that, just south of Egypt. She was responsible for halting the the Roman invasion into North Africa. She fought a war against the Romans for 3 years, and was one of the few people to be successful against the Roman Empire during that time. So it was really interesting to see her name be brought up in a video game like this.
I had hoped you would visit me. Good. Know that you stand before Queen Amanirenas of the Kush, queen of a dead kingdom on a dead world. But I earned my name, and even the sands of time cannot take it from me. In truly ancient times, my land lay south of Egypt, a harsh country. History is enamored of my contemporary Cleopatra, but she would have withered and died had she tried to rule my land. Your courtesy is appreciated, even though it rings hollow. My subjects are all dust. If you don't believe me, know you are not alone. Some clones deride me behind my back. I know this, but I feel in my bones that I am Amanirenas for true. The great and the terrible. To those who would oppose me, I remember things no one has told me. Memories of faces, betrayers, lovers, allies and enemies. And the smells. The right scent. And I close my eyes. And I can picture all of it. So vividly. It aches my heart. My home. My kingdom. If your mind and heart remain open, you will see the truth of it. Once, I called upon mighty armies. However, on Crucible I still lead. Have you heard of the believers? Have you heard of the mission? We are the ones who will take our rightful place in these settled systems, to bring in a new glorious age, and break the endless cycles of oppression and greed. If we could do it ourselves, we would have, years ago. I do not care if you think my plan is insane. But what I want, what we want, is a chance to prove to the facility we are ready. When someone has achieved their potential, the facility is supposed to set us free among the stars. But the machines have been breaking more and more over the years, and no one has ever been deemed worthy. I need your help to properly fix the facility so that we can prove ourselves and claim our birthright. I need you to go to the facility. I imagine Genghis has already told you about it. All the society leaders know it's the key, but only an outsider can get there. Please, investigate it. See if it can be repaired. Then return to me so we can formulate a new plan.
Okay, so Genghis wants us to destroy the facility. Amanirenas wants us to repair the facility. We're going to go talk to Franklin back here in a second, but before we do, let's see if we can talk to Ada
Your
again.
visitation is a prayer answered. Uncomfortable, truth be told. The believers are undeniably favored by the facility. Their complex receives food and materials first. When blood is spilt, the facility robots often side with them, and always the arguments and fisticuffs. Most of us just want to live in peace.
Oh, hey, Em. Sorry I wasn't paying attention to the comments while I was going through this. I appreciate you being here. Yeah, I'm looking forward to this weekend, too. This is the first time I've been able to get back onto my computer since everything happened, so... not really a plan for tonight, just playing through and seeing how things go.
Why yes, Ada Lovelace, at your service. My namesake worked with Charles Babbage, and is widely considered the first female programmer. And to see what our little experiments led to... I only wish Mr. Babbage was here. I suppose I am what passes for one here. I have my namesake's education, so I am well versed there. But without any books or treatises from other scientists, my knowledge is limited. Some clones received specialized knowledge, like Amelia. She knows how spacecraft works. So interviewing them has been fantastic for learning more advanced scientific principles. But mainly I conduct experiments, rudimentary as they are. I hope we can talk again.
Okay, so let's go talk to Franklin real quick.
Change is coming.
So, you have heard from the other societies. I must confess I'm very curious what an outsider thought of them, and their positions. You might be the first objectively neutral party we've ever come across. A very diplomatic approach. The facility has gathered some of the most obstinate and dangerous personages throughout history. It has told them that they should lead in a golden age via whatever means they see appropriate. Setting us all loose and Barter as a whole would invite disaster. We are barely fit to lead ourselves. Certainly. It is evident that the facility is decaying. is both unsustainable and unwise for us to fix and maintain the status quo. Our community must be weaned off the machines, learn how to build, grow, and govern ourselves, allowed to raise families so we can pass our lessons to the next generation, and to die when our allotted time is finished. One day we will be worthy of going to the stars. We are just not there yet. I am sure in time you will see the validity of my argument. Go to the facility and see what can be done.
Okay, so now you're supposed to head off to the facility.
Over here! We need to talk.
But first, let's talk to Wyatt. We'll set this mission active.
Listen, it's not safe to talk here. It's about Roosevelt. There's something you need to know.
You distrust everyone.
Thank you. There's a cave just outside town. No chance of us being listened in on. Please, come as quick as you can. Ideally, before you go to the facility. I'll meet you at the cave.
Okay, so Wyatt's gonna take off. And
I just wish the societies
we want to make sure that we have our persuasion gear on here, which we do. We never took it off. If you haven't gone through the Ryujin questline and you don't have access to the Neuroamp, then you may want to buff yourself up here with any persuasion items or persuasion aid items that you have before you go in here. I don't know if we have any Hippolyta left. We do. And we are still wearing our business suit.
You came. I just can't take a chance. These clones, they're psychotic, crazy. If they find out, I'm sorry. I just can't take the chance. You're just making it worse. I'm not Wyatt Earp. I wish. God, how I wish I was. I was cloned off a monster. America's first serial killer. H.H. Holmes.
Okay, so here's another lesson in history. He was exactly what it says. He was a serial killer. This was in the late 19th century. In Chicago, and another fairly famous historical figure around the World's Exposition that happened in Chicago. So, again, some really interesting history here.
It's like a living nightmare. If you go to the facility, I know you'd find out who I am. And if you let any of these bloodthirsty maniacs know, they'd kill me. But no, that wouldn't be the end. Every time my new clone would appear, death, torture, pure hell. I'm afraid it's you or me. I'm going to kill you.
Okay, so here you have a couple of options, and the persuade option is here.
I just don't see a way out.
And this one's a bit harder. You need 6 to be able to get this done. We do have an auto persuade, which is good.
I don't want to die. I want to believe you. I do.
Okay, so here we're taking a chance with a 3. Might as well use our auto persuade here just to make sure.
I mean, no. I guess. Maybe you're right. I'm gonna trust you, okay? Just don't tell anyone. This never happened.
Okay, so you do get to complete that in a satisfactory way, but you need some persuasion to do it. That is one of the 2 side quests, or one of the 3 side quests that is in there. We did pick up another side quest to deliver 150 copper to Tobias. And there's one more that we talked to Amelia about that's going to become more expanded upon once we go to the facility and then come back. But we are not going to go to the facility today. We're going to leave that till the start of our next mission. So we'll go ahead and drop our save here for this evening. Next week, off stream, what I'm probably going to do is suspend this and go pick up some more potatoes. So we'll be able to finish that off. And also pick up the copper. Again, you can just go buy that from UC Distribution, so it's not a big deal. I probably already have a bunch of copper sitting in my inventory back at the lodge anyway. But I'll go pick those things up so that we can complete a couple of quick side quests here before we head over to the facility. This is going to get a lot more interesting, and like I say, this quest was bugged. I'm anxious to see if that's been corrected in one of the patches or not. We'll kind of see how it plays out at the end of this and how our decisions are going to go, but we'll kind of take a look at it from that standpoint. So, again, everyone, thank you very much for being here tonight. I know because of the computer problems we had to skip last week, and I'm sorry about that. So I want to say thank you to everybody who showed up again tonight. I love all the interactions with all of you in chat. Thank you very much for all of that. I certainly appreciate it. As always, none of this would be possible without your support. So this is Commander Jorval saying until next time, fare thee well.